Flood Protection Secrets, the podcast to the protection against heavy rain and flooding by Dr. Flood, Andreas Klippe.
So the big challenge is, how can house owners like you and me get a flood-free home? How can business managers like you and me get a flood-free company? And how can public servants provide flood-free critical infrastructure and livable cities?
Flood Protection Secrets, the podcast by Dr. Flood, Andreas Klippe. This podcast is for foresighted and proactive people who do not want to shovel the muddy water out of their room while standing in the midst of the disaster.
Therefore, those who design and plan, the architects and engineers, need to construct such buildings and cities, and that even when the entire environment is completely flooded. That is the challenge, and this podcast will give the answers.
Flood Protection Secrets, the podcast by Dr. Flood, Andreas Klippe.
Hello and welcome for another episode of Flood Protection Secrets. Today we talk about climate milestones, deciphering the impact of historic temperature highs. Yeah, it's about the temperatures, what we can expect. Does it affect our private house? Do we have to expect more flooding? What do we do? How do we protect ourselves? So we talk a little bit about the implications of record-breaking global temperatures and delve into how rising ocean heat and unprecedented heat waves are transforming our environment and the critical role of advanced flood protection in the new climatic area, in this new climatic area. What does it mean? We always hear about exploring rising temperatures, exploding rising temperatures, and examine the recent surge in ocean temperature. And then you find that the global temperature rises beyond the 1.5 degree mark since industrialization. That means that our oceans are already overheated compared to the end of the 19th century, so 1880, 1890, etc. And what does it mean? Let's have a look a little bit why the ocean is so important and why the ocean influences our global weather patterns. People who live on islands like in the Philippines or the United Kingdom, Ireland as well, they are surrounded by oceans, the Pacific or the Atlantic, and or the Chinese Sea. And so they know what we are talking about. If you live in a country that is in the middle of Europe, let me say Austria, for instance, or Switzerland, there is no ocean. They are surrounded by the Alps, yes, but there is no ocean. So they are also affected. And why? That is what I'm going to explain right now. So the consequences for the world are stronger hurricanes, rising sea levels, and disrupted marine ecosystems. So let's delve into it. What does it mean? The first thing is the global experience is that the moment let's start it this way. That we first tell how this effect can be observed. The thing is relatively easy. When you increase the temperature of water, it can evaporate much easier. That is what you can observe every morning when you prepare your tea or your coffee. So there is steam, vapor, and if you that happens, for instance, with a coffee machine, which has not an automatic switch off algorithm or whatever, and you forget to turn it off, then after a while there's no more coffee inside. Everything is black and sticky, because the water inside the coffee has evaporated. the same when you give something to drink to your dog or your cat, and they don't finish the water, and you wait one day, for instance, because the dog and the cat are in the garden or somewhere else, or they simply don't drink, the water will be gone, depending on the surrounding temperature because of evaporation. So that means, and the warmer it is, the more it evaporates. That's the effect of a sauna, for instance, and that is what you can observe when you boil an egg or cook a coffee or tea water, for instance. So, and that is the same effect that happens to the ocean. And the moment the water is warmer, there is more evaporation. So that means more water from the sea, leaves the ocean, and transfers to the surrounding air. And this air now is having a higher water load, and then is flowing, blowing, going to the next land. So it will make landfall, and there normally you will see the rain, especially when it comes to mountains. That is where you observe the rain, and all the water that has been stored inside the air will now fall down as raindrops, as rain. And because we have had more water in the air, there will be more rain. So far, so good. So first you have heavier rainfalls that you can observe, and that is, by the way, what we observe already. And what kind of protection can you do? Of course, you can protect yourself against from this danger of flooding with flood barriers. That's my topic, of course. But there's a second effect that also will influence this rainfall, and why it is even worse. That is the jet stream, and the jet stream is responsible for the wind in the atmosphere between the continents. And it's not the wind in your garden or the wind in your city. So that is the intercontinental wind system around our planet. And that turns around the planet. There are about 3 rings, big systems. And because of the melting ice at the poles, we have a reduced speed inside these jet streams. And that influences the weather, because the moment you have a bad weather situation, this depression, this bad weather is not moving away anymore. That means it stands still, and it is fed up always with new air filled with water. So the rain doesn't stop. You have rain for days or weeks. And the opposite also is true, that when you have a high pressure weather system, so it can be that the sun is shining for weeks and months and there's no rain anymore, because this weather situation, this center of depression or high pressure is not moving forward anymore. And these two effects lead to more frequent rainfall and more intense rainfall. And that is why people have to protect themselves. And I can give you 2 examples, or one example at least, that is from a hospital in the Philippines, in the province of Bataan, that is southwest of the Philippines, southwest of Metro Manila. And this hospital was always flooded, and of course the people were suffering, and of course the hospital was always spending the money and did spend the money for repair and renovation instead of investing in new technology and better health care and health provision for the patients. Now they are safe. They have installed our demountable flood barriers, and they are safe from flooding. Another protection, what has been done, was along the coastline. at the River Tyne, that is a river in northern England, and Flood Control International has done that. That is the eastern part of the United Kingdom, and this river normally is flowing along 100 kilometers and into the North Sea below Newcastle up in Tyne. And they installed mobile flood barriers, so-called Inero mobile flood barriers. They can be installed very fast, so 700 meters can be installed within 4 hours only, and they can be reused because you dismantle them, and that is even faster. In 3 hours, they dismantled the 700 meters. You store them well, and you can store them into packages of crates have the size of an office table, and you can put up to 100 meters into one crate, depending how high the barriers are. So 100 meters inside. So in this case, in England, I'm not really sure, but the height I think was 1 meter. So then only 50 meters fit into one crate. But then you have 14 crates only. 14 crates to protect the whole riverside. About 700 meters. Incredible, isn't it? Yeah. Another example is a private house of a retired couple in the province of Bulacan in the Philippines. This couple was always suffering and really crying because they lost all the interior, all the nice furniture and so on and so forth. The hard-earned money of their life was gone, but now they are protected and have not to worry anymore. A beer brewery in Cambodia, in Phnom Penh, they are brewing this popular Dutch beer, this green logo with a red star you find in every airport launch and airplane. That's what they do there for Southeast Asia, and the brewery is located in Phnom Penh in Cambodia. They were totally flooded, and now they are protected. They installed our flood barriers, and now the production can continue. So people are not losing their jobs. The income is guaranteed, and the company can continue to brew the beer. The Qatari government is another example. A Qatari government organization was protecting buildings in Doha Education City, and Doha Education City is a landmark. Is it an institution? That is really a city with a FIFA World Cup stadium with the same name, the Education City. Perhaps some of you remember it. And but first of all, there are universities, public library, Qatar National Convention Center, Qatar Academic School, Texas University, and many, many more. And they were really afraid because in 2018 there was exactly such a weather situation that I described before. And that has led to extreme rainfall within a very short time. And so they got flooded, but that cannot happen anymore because these buildings are now flood protected. Yeah, that is the advice for businesses and governments sharing insights. Do that as well for your colleagues and for business friends, because you need to protect your businesses and your private homes and public infrastructure due to this impact of increased ocean temperatures. And that will not stop. That means with every centidegree that we increase the temperature of the air, automatically the ocean will follow, and that will result in stronger rainfalls and more frequent rainfalls. That is what I have explained before. The increase of the average ocean temperature leads to more frequent rainfall and more heavy rainfall, and the critical role of awareness and proactive measures in dealing with climate change, that is now what leads to my advice. Please take action now and apply all the already existing engineering solutions by using one of the top 14 flood protection barriers, how I call them, and then at least you have a peace of mind and you have not to worry about it anymore. We cannot avoid that it will rain and the environment is flooded, but at least your property that you have built with your own hands, with your hard-earned money, that will be protected from the demolition of heavy rain and floods. That was another episode of Flood Protection Secrets, Secure and Safety, the climate milestones, deciphering the impact of historic temperature highs. And I hope you like it. If yes, please stay tuned with this channel and perhaps you click and subscribe. And thank you very much for tuning in. And hope to see you in the next episode. I wish and hope for you that you make the right decisions when it comes to your personal flood protection. And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to this podcast channel if you haven't already. Now it only remains for me to wish you a good day, do something with it. Maybe until the next podcast episode, I would be very happy. See you then. As always, stay safe and flood free. Your Andreas Klippe and the whole Flood Experts team.
That's it again with a new episode of Flood Protection Secrets, the podcast by Dr. Flood, Andreas Klippe, German engineer, book author, and head of the Flood Experts. What can Dr. Flood, Andreas Klippe protect for you? Anytime? Worldwide? Contact us or just click through to www.thefloodexperts.de/bonus. Detailed engineering, German quality, safe, flood protection secrets, the secrets you'll want to unfold.
Don't forget, you're only one flood barrier away.
Subscribe to the season, and you'll never be late for an episode.